Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Hanson.net Reporter. We are here in Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada. On the Red, Green, Blue Tour, it is August 26th, 2022. And we have our reporter here with us. Why don't you introduce yourself for everybody?
Hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa. I'm with Hanson. I'm nervous.
That's all right.
Well, Vanessa, take it away. Any questions
Sure.
you have?
I have
Thoughts or?
Okay, so for the first question, 30 years as a band is a huge achievement.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to stay together instead of pursuing a solo career?
Well, I mean, there's lots of different. I mean, it's sort of like, why did you decide to marry that person, or why did you decide to do anything? I mean, it's not one moment. It's like lots and lots of choices. I know for me, I think, we're proud of what we do together. I mean, and you enjoy it. You're creating things. You want to continue to do things you were proud of and you enjoy. And I think too, especially through this season of breaking out and having success, I think there's also that extra determination to kind of almost outlive the expectation of people too, where they're like, well, bands break up. First of all, bands break up.
Yeah.
Forget about brother bands, and it's not that you're just doing it to prove that point, but I think there's definitely like so much doubting in there.
Mm-hmm.
It like people just expect things to fall apart, and so it gives you just some extra motivation in some of those days where like, you know what, I'm going to beat the odds. Like we're going to get to the other side.
Yeah.
But mostly it goes back to just doing things you think you're proud of.
I think the reason bands break up is because they're unsatisfied, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because you have unfulfilled creative needs, right? And I think the key there, just like any other kind of relationship, is growing together. When you stop growing in the same direction, then you're going your own separate paths, right? When you're kind of making that space for each other and the inevitable new endeavors and abilities and all that stuff that comes with years and years and years of life. I think we've been really, at least so far, able to do that for each other, right? Still leave that room to see, where does Taylor want to go? Where does Isaac want to go? Where does Zach want to go? And just, leave that room to be a band with a wide sound. I mean, at least we think we have a wide sound. I don't know if everyone else agrees, but when I listen to, Against the World, or for that matter, Anthem, or, I hear a lot of different styles kind of wrapped into one band, and I think that's what's kept us kind of able to do it together.
At some point in any life cycle, any project or business, or like potentially here in this point in our career, everyone has to be able to stretch different muscles and grow separate from one another in order to continue to bring good things to the table. Like it's like a marriage doesn't work with two half people. You have to have two wholes. And so with a group like us, I think it's really important for everyone to have tested themselves and tried things and sort of taken those chances. Yeah. And so I would expect you'll see us doing trying different things. But to have something that is really meaningful not only to you but to other people is rare. It's not everybody doesn't get that chance to have their job, their work be something that also kind of put something positive into a bunch of other people's lives. And so to me, that's always been a reason to even on the, be like, man, this is something that is worth fighting for.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it there.
Okay.
I could comment, but I'm sure other questions will create valuable commentary.
I'm satisfied. Okay, so you've been on tour since June, or June this year.
Early June, yeah.
So aside from being an artist, you are also an entrepreneur, husbands and fathers. What do you do for self-care to stay productive and avoid burnout?
It's hard. It's even in some ways you don't have the most physically hard job, but there is a lot of mental kind of, you're in different places, you're sleeping on buses, and you're traveling new places every day, and it's something you just have to, I think you have to find your little niche in tour lifestyle and understand yourself well enough to know what's going to keep you in a good place, right? Maybe it's you need to eat good food, or maybe it's you need to read a book, or maybe it's you need that sort of mental time of going to church every Sunday and just making sure you have, even if you're in a strange place, right? Yeah, this is a thing that I need to feel centered. Or and sometimes it's it's like things like working out or running. I love to run. That's something, so I try and find time every week to go exercise. You can't tell, but it's something I do.
I think you could tell if you went on a run with you, because you would be like, I can't keep up with Zach, because Zach can run 3 miles pretty easily.
Yeah.
And most people would be like, ah, or at least I would. I think that's a great question. I will say something which, this is kind of and this is maybe me getting a little heady, because the term self-care is a real popular term, but I don't particularly like that term. And because I think that self-care is at risk of being selfish. And I think that a lot of times we think that what we need is our way. And a lot of times what you actually need is to go help somebody else.
Right.
Go serve somebody else. Go make the world not about you. And I know that that's not the intention necessarily. I think that term is kind of made with good intent, because there are a lot of people who often struggle with self-esteem issues. But I think a lot of times a self-esteem issue is because you're so focused on your own problems. And oftentimes the best thing that you can do is say, what does somebody else need? What can I do for somebody else? That is actually one of the things that I love about being on the road that I did not realize, is that I really appreciate the opportunity to be there with other people and hear what they have to say and talk with people after the show and try and, as best as you can, even though it's just, 30 or 60 or 90 seconds with someone, but sometimes really profound things can happen in a very short amount of time. Doing a show in and of itself, exactly. And so you're there kind of, in some sense. What we're doing on stage is actually serving the audience. That's actually kind of at least half the job, if not more than half the job. Or at least you're certainly reacting to what they do. Like, there are certainly cases where you're in the middle of a show and people look around and go, that is not the song that we need to play. And, kind of like you make a change.
Yeah.
So,
you might be tired.
Exactly.
You might not feel like, oh, I really want to be on stage tonight.
Yeah.
But you go up and you sort of put on that energy and you kind of go, okay, this is a performance for people. I'm here for these people. And this is my job, to make everyone have a good time.
Sure.
And even if I'm tired, even if I don't feel like it tonight, I'm going to find a way to overcome.
And everybody obviously experiences that differently. I'm probably more that way than most, but I think that's, that's my reaction to that.
Clearly, I do things on stage that aren't for the audience. So
We'll find out.
Yeah,
Are you gonna do that?
the mustache is gone, and I will never reveal when I'm going to do anything.
Okay.
That is purely for me.
Surprise us. Thank you. So this question is for Isaac. I appreciate how your faith shows in your music, your interviews, and your social media posts. So would you consider doing a gospel cover album?
Ooh. Oh man, goodness, putting me on the spot here. I don't know. I don't know. I think there's a time and a place for everything, and so, I would never say that couldn't happen. I've definitely, I know the song Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen is not really a gospel song, but there's definitely a quality of it that is. And then I definitely did that kind of combo of Amazing Grace and Hallelujah. I think that's probably about as close as I've gotten.
Yeah.
So for now, that's as close as I'll be. I don't know. There are definitely moments where we've talked, I've had this idea that it would be really cool to do a choir-based record, and that inevitably...
That's not a gospel record.
It's not necessarily a gospel record. It doesn't mean that you might not go, oh, well, it'd be cool to do a gospel song or two on that record. But it's not necessarily built around the idea of it just being a spiritual, like hymn type of record. But I don't know. It could happen, I guess. I'm not completely opposed to the idea, but I'm also
Gospel music,
time and place.
Well, and musically, gospel
Stylistically.
sonic music is the foundation of R&B and integrated into rock and roll. So much musically, it's not hard to imagine doing that style.
Yeah,
it's not
style.
specifically just Christian
Style,
music, but gospel music. Something that is, but
Yeah, gospel in style.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Goes well together.
You never
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
Baby, you never know. Good call. Good call. She
I
nailed
told
it.
you, I'm still stuck in the 90s.
That's all right.
Okay,
That's
so for Taylor,
Yes.
I want to commend you for your Food on the Move project.
thank
Do you
you.
wish to expand it in other states?
Well, so the world doesn't yet know that there's something extremely cool coming from Food on the Move. It's a project that's been baking, and the whole thing of it was to try and understand: are there ideas that could work wherever there's food deserts? I mean, food desert is like a broken neighborhood, right? It's not just food. So I think in theory, yes, but it's really about getting to a serious line in the sand in Tulsa that says, actually these ideas worked. Like they actually moved to make this work better. Which
The nice thing about Tulsa
which is
is it's-
not an easy thing to do. Would probably be the best case is that if that were to happen, that's not in my hands. That would I would think it would be still years away. But in theory, what Food on the Move is trying to do is understand how could you combat like something that's got all these layers and really do it in a way that's mobilizing people. It's not just like putting a Band-Aid on it, but it's actually getting to the heart of it. And so
Because
that
your
takes
point
time.
is, you're one of the things that you've talked about is it's that some of those issues are not purely economic. That some of it is about other kind of
It's social, it's
economy kind of elements that are outside of the actual like poverty.
Poverty is an
exclusively.
indicator that poverty is all these. It happens for a variety of different reasons, but neighborhoods getting reinvested in, like if you can rebuild food systems, like it's a pathway to also transform the economy of a neighborhood. And I mean, so a short answer is, I would think that would hope that happens. If it happens, it's because it's actually been successful, and it's a huge blessing to me, honestly, to see what has continued to happen with it. So hopefully.
Would you want to volunteer at my workplace? Because I work with
Where?
homeless people.
Where?
At my workplace.
I mean, in theory, yeah, I would. I mean,
Well,
the
yeah,
one thing
thanks.
Isaac talked about giving. I will say that,
Yeah.
so the whole Food on the Move thing was inspired by really looking for mentorship. Wanting to like see and learn like how to do other things, how to be impactful with my life, my days, and meeting this amazing man who was a U.S. ambassador,
I saw that.
Edward Perkins, and he was just this. He was quiet, but he was he acted, and through his whole life, and so like everything
Very
about
patient.
Yeah, everything about Food on the Move is really like aspiring to be a bridge builder, to do things, and food was where he said I would start with food. I would look at how food. Where food is and you go, wow, that's like this gateway to changing the whole conversation. So serving people, volunteering is like Isaac was talking about, giving to others, man, it is a powerful, it inspires you, it gives you a lot of energy. It doesn't mean it's not tiring, but anytime you get a chance to do that, it definitely gives you some energy. It's fulfilling in a way that's, I think, kind of a secret weapon, So
Yeah.
anyway,
Cool.
Okay. Zach, I subscribe on your YouTube channel.
You do?
Zaccidental Gamer.
Yeah, Zach.
Do you aspire to be a successful gaming YouTuber?
All that is really about. There's a lot of layers to that, but mostly it's just about sharing things that are enjoyable. I think that's probably the most. I think that's the way to have the greatest impact on people. Not here are my ideas how to make you better or different, but simply share your joy, right? Share your experience. And that's something for my whole life I've played video games. And I just sort of realized for a variety of reasons, some relating to my kids and what they want to do with their lives and talking about, but also just like, you know what, this is a fun thing I can share every once in a while, maybe once a week, maybe less. It just kind of, and see where it goes. Because I think if we're laughing, if we're having a great time, and if this space, I think it's an interestingly, I think the energy in video games, it's an amazing storytelling platform, but a lot of times the people who are sharing what gaming isn't maybe representative of all the people playing games, right? When I go on Twitch, I see a variety of sort of men in their 20s and 30s, and then I see a lot of sort of, there's also this kind of culture of girls who are kind of being sexy, and then what gaming really is a bunch of like kids from 8 to 50 who are, yelling at each other and calling them nerds and calling them noobs and trying to get the dub. You know what I mean? Like, and there's a joyful, playful kind of replacing the board game in the living room, I think, is what it is. And I just love kind of representing
occupying
that.
a similar place.
Yeah, you know, when you play Fall Guys with 60 people and you're yelling at each other and making fun of each other's names, or you just get railed on by somebody who is way better than you, you just screw up. Like, it just makes me laugh, and I think everybody needs to laugh. Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can I ask one last thing? Can you say kumusta kayo?
What does it mean?
How are you in Tagalog? Because I'm from the Philippines originally. Yeah.
Kumusta kayo?
Kumusta kayo?
Kumusta kayo?
Yay!
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, guys.